And this one is a ZILCH hand, nothing, no points anywhere, no 15s, pairs, runs, flushes, or jacks. Right, jack. When you get fairly confident at that, you can start by doing another form of the same practice, is to take a hand like this, which has no points in it at all. You don't have any 15s or any and no runs and no pairs and no runs. So to practice, what you do is, you would think this wouldn't be involved in a game, but only in practice, would be to say, what card could you change to what that would make this hand the most it could be? In other words, if I change this 7 to a 3, if I change that 7 to a 3, I would have a 15 for 2, 15 for 4, and 3 is 7. And that would be the most that you could get out of that hand.
7 points.
7 points. Here I have a 5 and 4 is 9, 10, 11, and 3. The whole thing is 14, adds up to 14, so I don't have any 15s. Do I have a pair? Yes, I have a pair of aces. And do I have a run? Yes, I have a run of 3, 4, 5. So this hand is a pair for 2 and a run of 3 is 5. This is where your pair and your runs are separate. That's the only way it can occur. And for practice, what card would you change to what to make it the most that it could be? If I were to change the ace to a 4, if I were to change the ace to a 4, I would still have no 15s. This would be 3, 4, 4 is 8, 4 is 12, and 5 would be 17. So it doesn't add up to 15. Do I have a pair? Yes. Is it involved in a run? Yes. 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. So the pair's involved in a run, so I count it together. This would be a double run for 8. And that would be all that you could get. But is this the most that you could get for this hand, changing this ace to a 4? And the answer is no. I can change that ace to a 5. I could change this ace to a 5, and I have a 15 for 2. 5 and 5 is 10, and 4 is 14, and 1 is 15. I'd have it 15 for 2, and then I have a pair involved in a run, 3, 4, 5, 5. So that's a double run for 8. So this would be 15 for 2, and the double run for 8 would make 10. So this hand would be 10. Another way that I could get 10 out of it would be to go back and to change this 5 to a deuce. If I change that 5 to a deuce, I would have a no 15s, I would have a pair, and then I would have a run of 4 involved with a pair. So this would be a double run of 4 with a pair would be 4. This run of 4, and then this run of 4 would be 4 plus 4, and then the pair would would make 10. So that's a double run for 10. So that's another way to get 10 out of the same hand. So that's a way that you can practice counting, and that will get you into recognizing some of the combinations and so forth. This hand has a 15 for 2 in it now. What could I change to what to make it the most that it could be? I could change the 2 to an 8, and that would give me a 15 for 2, jack and a 5, a 15 for 4, the 7 and the 8, a 15 for 4, and then I have a run of 3, 7, 8, 9 would be 7 points. So this hand would be 7 points. If I changed the 2 to an 8, I could get 8 points out of it another way. Instead of changing the 2 to an 8, I could change the 2 to a 6. If I change the 2 to a 6, I would have a 15 for 2, 9 and 6 is 15 for 4, and then I have a run of 3 would make 7. So I could make 7 that way also. If I change the deuce, if I change the 2 to a 10, if I change the 2 to a 10, I would have a 15 for 2, 15 for 4, and then a run of 3 would make 7. So that's a way to practice your counting. The next thing that you need to do is to practice in the play is when you have a hand dealt to you of 6 cards. When you have a hand of 6 cards dealt to you, sometimes it's going to be your crib, sometimes it's going to be your opponent's crib. So if I had this hand dealt to me, I would want to hold the most that I could hold. And the most that I could hold would be the 4, 4, 5, 6. This would be a 4, 5, 6 is a 15 for 2. This 4, this 5, and this 6 would be a 15 for 4. Then you got a double run of 3 with a pair would be 8. So that hand would be 15 for 2, 4, and 8's 12. Then, if it were your opponent's crib, you would have these 2 left over for his crib. And by the same token, you would put the same cards in your crib, because you wouldn't want to do something like taking the 9 and the 4 and putting it in his crib. Now 9 and a 4 are safer cards for him.